Hi guys, I knew this would happen, but how deep down the rabbit hole Brexiteers would go continues to amaze me. So, Suella Braverman received a speeding fine. She paid it, but may have breached the ministerial code by asking civil servants to get involved in a private matter. And this is not something she has denied. However, her supporters are engaging in the craziest mental gymnastics possible to try and excuse her actions. Here Brexit headbanger Kate Hoey tried to sell the calls for Braverman to be held to account as some sort of Remainer plot. Have a listen to this.
I mean, the most horrifying story for me this week, that makes me most angry, is the Suella Braverman, because she is, to me, one of the last remaining genuine leavers who really believe in the European Union. And she's clearly being set up. You know, it's just shocking.
Set up? What do you mean set up? Who set her up? She asked for advice on a private matter. That's a breach of the ministerial code. Civil servants are supposed to give advice on official matters, not private matters. Like, these are the first people who will complain about civil servants being lazy and not doing their job. This is not their job.
But they're taking them on sort of one by one, aren't they? Almost as if they're sort of trying to pick them off. They managed to get Dominic Raab. They're now trying to...
Who is they? Is he talking about civil servants? So civil servants made Dominic Raab bully them. So it's not Dominic Raab's fault that he bullied people. He was made bully. He was forced to bully people. Suella Braverman was tricked into asking for advice on a private matter. If this is the case, then these people should be nowhere near the levers of power if they're that easily manipulated.
To get Suella Braverman, they will consider, they got Priti Patel, they'll continue to just try and pick people off, because I think the Suella Braverman story is a complete red herring. Who cares?
I just think it's dreadful. If you...
Who cares? Now, is this guy stupid, or is he pretending to be stupid? This is asking the civil service to provide advice on private matters. This was a private matter. Like, she received the letter explaining what she was supposed to do. It's not the business of the civil service to provide advice on private matters. Their job is to provide advice on official matters. This was not official business. It was a waste of time, a waste of taxpayers' money, because that was time spent giving advice to a government minister about something that's not related to government.
You can't trust your own civil... I remember when I was a minister, I had a wonderful private office, and, you would have gone to your private secretary and said, oh, look, I've got to do this. Do you think I could do that? And you waited to see what, they would give advice.
But advice about official things or private things, Kate Hoey? Because if they were giving you advice on private things, that's a waste of public time. It's a waste of public money. Why were you asking, if this is what she's claiming, why were you asking the civil service to provide you advice on private issues? You're a private citizen. Go and pay for a lawyer if you want legal advice. Why should the taxpayer be paying for your legal advice if that's what it was?
You didn't expect it then to be read in the papers in 6 months' time that you'd asked for something, you'd asked about advice for something. I just think it's shocking. And again, it's an example of how, the civil service seemed to have, I think, changed quite a lot in their attitude in the last number of years about their independence and their impartiality.
Yeah, it seems to me...
What are you talking about? They've changed. They're not supposed to provide advice to private citizens. They're paid to provide advice to public officials.
It'd be a perfectly reasonable question to ask because I've had to go through one of those speed awareness courses. They're a pain in the neck. But if you're somebody who's quite well known, you don't necessarily want to sit on a Zoom call with those 10 or 15 other people.
Why? She didn't break the law in an official manner. She broke the law as a private citizen. Does the concrete farmer not understand the difference between Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, and Suella Braverman, the private individual?
Because they all start talking about it.
I didn't realise you could actually pay and get on your own. And I can imagine that some...
Once again, why did Talk TV invite on Kate Hoey if she doesn't know what the hell she's talking about? So Kate Hoey was invited on to answer questions about this, to give her commentary on this. She doesn't understand what happened. She doesn't understand the process. She made claims about, well, when I was a minister, I was getting advice on things. Now, she wasn't clear whether that was advice on private matters or on public matters. If she's commenting on this, it must have been a private matter. So that begs the question, why were you receiving taxpayer-funded advice on private issues? That's a waste of taxpayer money. These are the people who complain about immigrants waste, the immigration being a waste of taxpayer money, people put up in hotels, a waste of taxpayer money, net zero, a waste of taxpayer money. And then these people are asking civil servants, it seems, for advice on private matters. And just think about the power dynamic there. Imagine you are a member of the civil service and a government minister comes to your desk and says, look, I have this problem, this private problem, can you help me out? Or can you give me advice on how to get out of the problem or how to resolve the problem? Can the civil servant say, no, I'm sorry, that's a private matter, I can't be getting involved? Or would they say, I better do this because this person is my boss, and if I don't help them out, it could impact my career, or I could actually lose my job, or I could be bullied, as in the case with some ministers. Pathetic. But once again, this is about defending the indefensible, defending Brexiteers, because Kate Hoey is a Brexiteer, Suella Braverman is a Brexiteer, so whatever she has done, we have to defend it. It's disgusting behaviour. If Remainers are doing stupid things, that has to be called out. If Brexiteers are doing stupid things, that has to be called out. If they're breaking the ministerial code, they have to be called out and they have to be held to account, irrespective of their position on Brexit or on any other issue. Once again, why, I have to ask this question, why was Kate Hoey invited onto this show? What has she added to the discussion here? She doesn't understand what happened with Suella Braverman. She doesn't understand the process of the punishment. And she doesn't seem to understand the role of the civil service. Their job is extremely important. Their job is to provide advice to ministers, to the government. And you're complaining about them not being independent. But them not helping her would be a sign of independence. Imagine for a moment this was a Labour government, a Labour minister had broken the rules. Do you think the concrete farmer here and Kate Hoey would be saying, well, there's nothing really to say, we just need to move on, this is a waste of our time? No, they would be calling for that minister to resign in the same way, and it would be right. If that minister breached the ministerial code, a Labour minister, they should resign. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.